You know what time it is? It's time for game picks. It's time for predictions. UFC 296 Saturday. And it's time for some picks as well for some of the bowl games. Gonna get to on Saturday. But hello everyone. Thanks for joining me on this fine Thursday. Get to all as much important stuff as we can on the podcast today. Hope everyone's having a good day. We're in the season of cold and possibly some snow. We'll have to see. But, for any newcomers, subscribe and you can get to the whole gist of things, and just gotta get it out of the way. But nonetheless, before, want to talk about a couple things as far as basketball is concerned. So, first off, Draymond Green was reportedly suspended indefinitely after a shot that was taken at Nurkic of Suns the other day and didn't look egregious. I mean, we're seeing a bunch lately with NBA refs, and we know the drill. Some of these calls are really it can be stupid. That's all I can say. We saw Jokic get ejected the other night as well for some. Any event, Draymond's been suspended definitely. There's that. And Giannis last night, he scored a career high 64 points against Pacers. Credit stuff there for the Greek Freak. Hell of a night. Good stuff for Giannis. Obviously, they lost in the quarterfinal or the semis of the Owen Hart. I'm not saying that, but the end-season tournament. So there you go. Anyways, UFC 296 is Saturday with a pretty intriguing main event, which we shall go over. A fun-looking card, rather. I have to say, unfortunately, one of the good fights has been called off the card. Vicente Luque versus Ian Gary. A tough task at welterweight, but Ian Gary, who last we saw dismantle Neil Magny, he unfortunately has had flu and symptoms, and he is unfortunately pulled out of his fight with Vicente Luque. So, that fight missed. Hopefully, Gary heals ASAP. But we still got a fun card to look forward to. Starting with Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. Two guys can bang who can be scrappy, and we know can always pull a win. It's hard to say at 145, but I'm going with Emma here. Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett. It's tough because I picked, Tony Ferguson in his last fight versus Bobby Green. And really, El Kukui's been on this downward slope, so it's really sucked. It has really sucked to see how it goes. Yeah. But at the same time, Paddy, coming in with this bunch of hype, we know he's popular amongst the UK. In his last fight against Jared Gordon, he not great, but he got the decision. It's toss up. I'm gonna go with Paddy, just because you just don't see that greatness in El Kukui anymore, and it sucks. A fun high stakes bout at welterweight. We got the undefeated Shavkat Rachmanov 17-0 against the always dangerous and always skilled Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So that's definitely going to be a fun bout. It's tough because Shavkat, has been very good, very good. I'm going to go with Wonder Boy, but this is going to be a tough outing, I would say, with Shavkat. He's very good. Alexander Pantoja in his first title defense after beating Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. Pantoja, in his last fight, he has really showed some skill and some toughness to his game. And, his first fight, I haven't seen a lot of these two guys, but I have to say, I'm going to go with Pantoja to get the win. Main event. This fight, at first it didn't seem like it was going to happen, but after a while, campaigning, and ultimately it was made. Leon Edwards, after stopping Usman twice, he is now fighting Colby Covington. Colby, this is an interesting bout because we know about the endurance of Colby. His two very good fights versus Kamaru Usman. Some of the best fights I've seen from 170 and just in general. Those fights, back and forth. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough against Edwards. We know he's very good on the field with striking, and he can pressure you good amount. But so is Colby. That cardio is great of his. I'm gonna go with Colby. There's something about this fight, like this might be Colby's last title shot. It's like he's been around. I mean, he's fought Usman twice. He people want to bash on Colby, but the names on his list, now I get it. They weren't all in their prime. But at the same time, he's beaten Woodley, he's beaten Jorge Masvidal. I mean, seriously, some names, he beat Dos Anjos to become the interim champ. He's beaten Robbie Lawler. He's being a who's who in names. So, I'm going to go with Colby just because this may be now or never. Either he's going to win and be the full-time champ, or he's going to be the undisputed champ, or, yeah. He's only 35. Which, back in the day, it would be like a killer age, be like fall off in the UFC or fighting in general, but yeah, it just feels like Kobe doesn't win, then it's not gonna go well. Now, let's go to NFL Week 15. So, just want to point this out. And as you saw in the thumbnail, I had a losing week this week as far as picks, 7 and 8. Courtesy of 2 comebacks in the end on Monday night, back-to-back. Great for Will Levis, great for Tommy DeVito. They both struck me late, but it is what it is. I'd say I've not been as good this year in picks as I have in prior years. Definitely not as good as I want to be, but 4 weeks left in the season. Still gotta try in the regular season. Okay, so for starters tonight, Raiders hosting the Chargers. A lot of variables going in this game. A lot of variables. Just want to check the odds things again. Want to make sure there's correct or same as can be. Yeah. So, Raiders 3-point favorites at home. Now, like I said, a bunch of variables. So, A.L. Connell will start again. There were some rumblings that he might get benched. But ultimately, he's starting again tonight. No Josh Jacobs. So, expect a good dosage of probably Zamir White. But, you still got, Devontae Adams. There's been an illness and stuff going around. But seems like Devontae Adams will play. You got Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, Austin Hooper, etc. Hunter Renfro. Odds are you can't do much worse on offense than he did against the Vikings on Sunday. Scoring 0 points. So I expect them to rebound. And as bad of a excuse me, as bad as an offensive performance it was for the Raiders, besides one big pass to Renfro, it was a great defensive day. And Max Crosby, 13.5 sacks. He, Khalil Mack, TJ Watt, Danielle Hunter, Josh Allen, them all are in close sides to become Defensive Player of the Year. We'll see. So there's the Raiders side. For the Chargers, it's a who's who. It's a pick'em, kind of. So, Justin Herbert, his season is done. He had surgery on his fractured index finger, so he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Makes sense, 4 games to go. It's a long shot to make the playoffs. It just sucks. It's been a bit of a disappointing season. So, you have Easton sick, and amongst all the injuries to wide receiver, it's good news, bad news, because good news is they'll probably get Josh Palmer back. The bad news, Keenan Allen is out tonight. So there we go. So now they still have Austin Eckler. They still have, Palmer, Quinn Johnson, who's been up and down really this season. Yeah. It's tough, but I'm going to say at home, the favorites, it's going to be tough. I'm going with the Raiders 17-13. We're back to Saturday NFL football. 3 games on Saturday. First, Vikings at the Bengals in Cincinnati. Cincy 4-point favorites at home. Great stuff. So, Jake Browning, there was some issue, but it looks like he'll play. Nick Mullins will play for the Vikings. The 4th starting quarterback for the Vikings this season. Apparently, Josh Dobbs has been demoted from the starter to 3rd string. The emergency 3rd string, Jern Hall, will be the backup. And Justin Jefferson has said he will play. Um, so, pair of LSU wide receivers here. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Two great ones. This is tough. Now, Nick Mullins, he did provide that spark, really 2 drives, I would say, 2 drives, which, got in field goal range, which, I mean, based on how the game went, go figure. But Jake Browning has, done very well in his first few games as a starter. That game against the Steelers, it was okay. And then he exploded versus the Jags and then did very well against the Colts. I mean, both teams need this win. This kind of a semi-playoff game because both teams are 7-6. Both teams are fighting for the wild card race. Although the Vikings still have a chance at the division, but it's a weird task. I'm going to go with the Bengals here, at home, since I do think it will be better, but I don't know about Nick Mullins. That's the thing. I mean, we'll see, but 21-13, Bengals win. Second of 3 games on Saturday, we got the Colts and we got the Steelers. In Indy, Colts 2.5-point favorites at home. Now, it looks like it'll be Mitch Trubisky again. That's the way it looks. Yeah. So we'll see. But you know, Trubisky looked okay. You know, I get, a playoff team at home. You want to see your team do well. And it did not look great, but, despite the boos, you know, Trubisky mustered up and they did okay. If they had went for that field goal instead of going for it on 4th down, perhaps they would have tied it up. But at the end, and overtime, we'll see. Now, they just don't score a lot of points. You can say Matt Canada, you can say Trubisky, you can say Kenny Pickett. They don't score a lot of points. I mean, this is not Big Ben, throwing the rock around to Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Hines Ward, Santonio Holmes, etc. This is a rugged offense for the Steelers. And, Minshew, he's filled in very good for Anthony Richardson. And Shane Steichen, he probably won't win it, but he's certainly in the category for Coach of the Year, especially if they make the playoffs, which I think they have a very good chance of doing. So I'm going to go with the Colts here, 23-20. Yeah. Broncos in Detroit. Lions 4-point favorites at home. It's tough because Lions defense, the last number of weeks have shown they have issues. They have issues. They have a playoff caliber offense, but their defense has shown issues. I mean, facing Justin Fields twice, although the first time they escaped, and then against Jordan Love, now they did have issues with handling the ball, but their defense has issues. Their offense is very good. Their defense, yeah. And, with the Broncos, they have a good defense. Russell Wilson has shown he's still mobile. He's not as mobile as he used to be, but he is mobile. So mobile. And he can make Houdini plays, and they're fine for the playoffs. These are two of the main front runners, I'd say, for Coach of the Year. I'm going to go with the Broncos, 21-17. Now, this is more of, if I'm wrong, good. But I'm going with the Broncos here, 21-17. Falcons in Carolina. Falcons, 3-point favorites on the road. Falcons are the weirdest semi-good team we could say this year. I mean, coming in this season, I had expectations for them probably winning the division, and they're tied, but it's just weird. They lost 30 seconds to go. It's just weird. Rice Young is struggling. Struggling bad. I mean, 13 of 36 versus the Saints. That's strugglesville. Struggles. I mean, he's had some good signs, but it's tough. I'm going to go with if there was a time for them to get another win, I'm going with the Panthers, 17-14. But yeah, this looks odd. Brownies hosting the Bears. Browns 3-point favorites. Joe Flacco signed a 1-year deal. No more practice squad for him. Go figure. He's played very well the last 2 games. If he continues that up, like I said, they can play against anybody. Bears got a big win against the Lions at home. Now they're on the road against arguably the best defense. You know, Flacco playing better. Go with 27-23. Brownies get the win. Interesting game. Battle of the Bay. 6-7 for 6-7. Buccaneers first in Green Bay playing the Packers. Packers 3.5-point favorites. The injuries are sucking for the Packers. Luke Musgrave, so out with last third kidney. Yeah, John Travis Nix. He's may not play. You know, Jalen Reed, him too. Christian Watson may not play again. You know, Aaron Jones, his performance has missed a bit. You know, it's tough. With that win over Atlanta, this kind of sign of, okay, the Buccaneers can win this division. You know, it's a three-way tie. Yeah, I'm going with the Buccaneers to win this game on the road, 24-20. The healthier team, the healthier offense. I'm going for it. Jets in Miami. I don't have to go over that much. Miami show won that game. They gave it up. Credit to Will Levis. Yeah, great performance in the end. But yeah, Miami kind of gave that game away. And this is the case where, you know, Tyreek Hill, we'll see. I'm going to go with Miami here, 28-16. You know, Jets got the win over Texans, but, you know, no Tank Dell. Nick Collins got hurt. You know, this is going to be tough. Miami knows it's like, well, if the Bills, you know, win out, there's a chance they lose the division. So they have to be careful. So yeah, 28-16, Miami wins. Saints hosting Tommy DeVito and the Giants. Can DeVito make it 4 straight for the G-Men? Now, it was a good story, good moment in New York. Now playing on the road against the Saints, it's going to be unique because the Saints, you know, that three-way tie, you know, it was not great for Derek Carr, but they found a way to win. You know, Chris Olave, we know Michael Thomas on IR. It's going to be weird. I'm going to go with the Giants. This is weird, but I'm going with the Giants on the road, 2017. Titans hosting the Texans. Titans 2-point favorites at home. Probably should be more. Seems like Davis Mills will start for the Texans. CJ Stroud, still concussion protocol. I mean, no Tank Dell rest of the year. Nick Collins hurt. Dalton Schultz has been in and out. Yeah, going with the Titans. 6-8. They're kind of creeping. If they win, 6-8. Yeah. Titans 21-17. I tossed around with this matchup, but don't want to get ahead of myself. Chiefs in New England. Chiefs 9.5-point favorites. Bailey Zappi played good. Was that a harbinger, or was that just okay? What next? Now, the Chiefs should have probably won against the Bills. That play, whatever you want to call it, they should have won. Well, who knows if they will win. They'd still be around a minute, but nonetheless, they would have been ahead. Chiefs offense, I mentioned, hasn't been great, but their defense, one of the better ones. So here's what I'll do. I'll say the Chiefs won 20-17 in New England, but we shall see. We shall see. Screw it. I had a losing season or a losing week last week. I'm going for it. 2017 Patriots win. '49ers now the 1 seed in the NFC. The momentum's in their favor to get the 1 seed and the bye. They go to Arizona. Can Arizona, Kyler Murray, unease that momentum? 49ers 13.5-point favorite. It's difficult because you could say that 49ers are due for another down game. At the same time, at full strength, it's hard to pick against them. I know I did with the Eagles, but, I just felt like at home, it's tough because the Eagles don't get made calls and stuff, but 49ers beat the crap out of them. But I'm going to go with the 49ers 30-20 on the road, get it done. There's simply not a lot of weapons for Kyler Murray to work with on offense. I do like Trey McBride. Rondo Moore has some good stuff, but there's not a lot. Rams hosting the Commanders. Rams 6.5-point favorites at home. With the Packers losing, that opens the door a bit for the Rams to come into the last wildcard spot. The Packers, if all goes right, according to my picks, or at least in that game, Rams will be in the final wildcard spot. I'm going with the Rams 24-16. I mean, I just don't know how longer, Ron Rivera has with that team. I just don't know. I like him, but yeah, it's not going well. Oh boy, here. Cowboys going to Buffalo. Bills 1 point favorites at home. Bills. This is a must win for the Bills. The Cowboys don't need this game. See, the weird thing is you always wonder after a big win, after a weapon like that, there's always a room for a meltdown or a drawback. I'm not saying they get their butts whipped by Buffalo, but I'm saying you know Dallas Dak doesn't need to have a good game for them to win. Josh Allen needs to have a great game, it feels, for them to win. On this path, you know, we're so hyped about the Cowboys after a win. On the road, this not gonna be as smooth. So I'm gonna go with the Bills 30-27. They get the win and go at 8-6, and they're alive. Could be fun. Ravens at the Jags. Ravens 3.5 point favorites on the road. Jags 2 game losing streak. 8-3. Lost in overtime for Cincy. Trevor Lawrence got hurt. Could say they could won that game. So, and then against the Browns, they returned, or Trevor Lawrence returned, but did not look great. He looked off. Now, at home, thriller of overtime win for the Ravens. Must win for Jags. I feel, get right. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Jags 27-24. Last game, that was a shootout. I expect the same. So, yeah, 27-24 Jags in Duval on Sunday Night Football. Eagles in Seattle. Seattle 4 point underdogs. Now, Philly got their butts whipped by San Fran. Then they got their butts whipped by Dallas. You know, we've seen that Jalen Hurts and something's off about the offense. Just feels off. There's something in the waters, but I'm going with the Seahawks 28-24. They get the win. Let me just double check. So that's... I don't want to pick too many upsets, but we'll see. So, let's see. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to change the Falcons Carolina pick. Going to go with Falcons here 20-12. So yeah, there we go. But yeah, those are my picks for NFL Week 15. Now, last but not least, let's get to the bowl games for this Saturday. Get my little picks for these games to go over. Because there's some. So, New Mexico State versus Fresno State. You know, both have been south this year from Mountain West. New Mexico State came up short versus Liberty in the Conference USA, Conference USA versus Mountain West. I'm going to go with Fresno State in this game. Cal versus Texas Tech. Go with Texas Tech. James Madison versus Air Force. Unique. Armed Forces Bowl. I may go with James Madison. You know, just how well they've been doing. But yeah, it should be fun. Utah versus Northwestern. Going with Utah in this. Minnesota over Bowling Green. Kansas over UNLV. Louisville versus USC. I'm going with Louisville. Oklahoma State over Texas A&M. Yeah, got some bowl games to look forward to. So yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for joining me here. Smash that like button, leave a like. Thank you all. Be safe. See you guys next week. Enjoy sports, fights, games all this weekend. Enjoy. With that, thank you guys all. Be safe. Peace.